Dollar Tree carries a variety of micro LED battery operated Christmas lights, and today we're going to be incorporating those into our projects to create some high-end Christmas decor. Our first project is very easy and beginner friendly. Take one of Dollar Tree's round trivets and on the very top of it, apply a layer of Mod Podge. Make it a nice even layer and then set it to the side and allow it to dry. Then you can pick out your favorite tissue paper, napkin, scrapbook paper, gift bag, whatever you like. I'm going to use this tissue paper from Dollar Tree. I love these beautiful snowflake designs on it. And we're going to set our trivet down on a heat protected mat. Our Mod Podge is dry. We'll lay our tissue paper or your scrapbook paper, whatever you're using, on top of that, and then a piece of parchment paper. And then I'm using a mini iron, or you can use a household iron, set on around 360, 365. You don't want to apply a lot of pressure, and it does not take long at all for this to heat up that Mod Podge and seal your tissue paper to the glass. You do want to be extremely careful because this will get the glass hot, so it only took a few minutes, and while it's cooling down, I'm going to trim that tissue paper down to a more manageable size. Once completely cool, take a fine grit sandpaper and go around the edges going in one direction. This will remove that excess tissue paper and give you a nice clean edge all the way around. Now you can add a layer of Mod Podge on top of your tissue paper to protect it. Once dry, flip that over, and on the bottom we'll be using some of Dollar Tree's micro LED lights. Now I recommend that you use a tacky strip or double-sided tape. I ran out of double-sided tape, so for video purposes I am using hot glue to glue the wire portion to the bottom of the trivet going in a circle. Now, over time, the hot glue will pop off of this glass. That's why I recommend using some sort of tacky glue, but I wanted to show you guys this project, so I'm just going to hot glue it down. Once I get around that circle one time, I will start forming a circle on the inside of that one. Make sure you leave enough excess wire to have your battery pack on the outside. Then I used my hair dryer to remove any of the glue strands. We're going to flip it over, and I was so lucky to find these acrylic reindeer. They're gorgeous. They look like glass, and I'm just going to place 3 right on top. This turned out stunning. For this project, you'll need 4 8x10 photo frames in the color of your choice. I chose white with gold trim. You'll want to remove everything, set the glass to the side, and then remove the little tabs because you don't want to be able to see those when the project's finished. Just be careful not to break your frame while removing those. Then we're going to reattach the glass inside of the frame. Now I recommend you use a permanent glue like E6000. For video purposes, I'm just using hot glue. But for a permanent hold, you would want to put some E6000 in there and then maybe just some hot glue in the corners. Then I'm going to go back over the glass with the hot glue to make sure that the glass is secure and does not come out. You'll do that for all 4 frames. And I'm using some scrapbook paper. This came from Hobby Lobby, and I don't know if you can tell, but there is some beautiful shiny gold on the trees. I'm going to take the backing from one of the frames to use as a guide to cut that out to size. Then we're going to attach that to the back side, so the picture is actually going to be inserted with the back of the frame facing you. And I was using double-sided sticky tape, and that's when I realized I didn't have any more, so that's why we didn't use it in project number 1. So to improvise, I just rolled over some packing tape to make my own double-sided sticky tape. and then we'll place that picture inside. Now you could certainly Mod Podge this in. Once we have that done, we're then going to hot glue on one side of this frame. Again, you're looking at the back of the frame, and then we're going to attach the other frame to that end to end. So it'll look something like this. Then we'll attach our other frame on the opposite side. So the front of your frames are all facing outward, so you can see that beautiful white and gold. Then we'll attach the other frame at the very end. Again, for a more permanent hold, you'll want to use some sort of super glue or E6000, but for video purposes, I'm using hot glue. To create a bottom for our box, I'm going to use foam board. I started off by tracing the outside of the box, and to cut the foam board down, I am using some electric scissors. These work amazing on foam board or cardboard, and I have this listed in my Amazon store in my description box below if you guys are interested in it. It just cuts like butter. So once I get that cut down, I don't like the way I can see the foam board from the outside of the project, so I am going to trace on the inside, and then when I get ready to cut that, I'm going to cut it a little bit larger than what I traced out, so it'll be a nice snug fit inside of our box. Once I know that it's going to fit good, I'm going to add some hot glue all around the edges of the foam board, and then we can set our box right on top of that, and if there are any gaps, you can fill those in with hot glue, and then I also just add a little bit extra to make sure it's nice and snug and it doesn't come out. Then we're going to flip it over to the bottom because I want to add these lights, these LED lights in it, and I want to have the battery pack on the outside. So I just took the end of a paintbrush and poked a hole right through the foam board. And I did this on one side so that when I feed all of the lights in, I'll be able to run this all along the back of the frame, and the battery pack will be on the outside, and it'll be enough lights to go around 3 sides of that frame. So to hold it in place, I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue just to that frame, just to hold the wire in. Run that strand up that side, then I'll do the same thing across the very top, and then back down to the bottom where our battery pack is. So once you have all of that secure in place, I'm going to take some hot glue and fill in that hole where the wire goes out to the battery pack. I don't have a board that's sturdy enough or long enough to go over the box, but I do have this sign from Dollar Tree. It's the perfect width, and I'm okay that it has a gap in the back, but I can also decorate the top of this. Now it's time to fill it up with some Christmas cuteness by adding in some Dollar Tree bottle brush trees in white and green. Then I'm going to add a wooden house that I already had on hand, a couple more various different sizes of bottle brush trees, a skiing Santa that came from Dollar General, the sled from Dollar Tree, as well as a snowman from Dollar Tree, some more bottle brush trees, and a lantern that I already had on hand. Then I'm going to fill everything in with some faux snow, including in the back and around the trees. Then I can add my top on there and decorate that. I'm using a Dollar Tree candlestick, some battery-operated LED candles, a faux tree, I believe that came from Dollar Tree, the sled from Dollar General, and another battery-operated candle. This is another very easy project to do using one of Dollar Tree's plastic cloches. I'm going to paint the base of mine with 2 coats of white chalk paint, and once that dries, I'm going to add a layer of Mod Podge to not only seal the chalk paint in, but also it's going to help keep it from chipping off when you add the cloche portion at the top, you know, when you're taking that on and off. Once that's thoroughly dry, I'm going to be decorating mine with a couple of bottle brush trees from Dollar Tree in a couple of different sizes. Now I do like to set mine on there and make sure that the cloche is going to fit properly before I glue anything down. And once I know where I want to place them exactly, I'm going to go ahead and hot glue each one of those in place. Then to set in front of that, I'm going to use these wooden angels from Dollar Tree, the miniature ones. They are so precious. And I'm going to add 3 of those right in front of the tree. Now you could leave it just like this, but of course I think adding some lights will certainly elevate the look. I'm going to make sure to remove all the glue strands with a dry paintbrush so that they don't show up with the lights. Then I'm going to take the lights and wrap them around like a Mod Podge container just to get a nice circle. And then I'll slide that off the bottom and I can put this in the top of the cloche. And then I'm going to pinch right there around where the wire is so I can place that in the back and kind of hide that battery pack. For this project, I am using 2 of the bubble bowls, or they look like fish bowls. They're from Dollar Tree. The larger one is 4.9 inches by 3.9 inches, and the smaller one is 4.3 by 3.5. I'm going to clean both inside and outside of these with some rubbing alcohol and allow that to dry. And then you can use a Mod Podge, but I'm going to be using a polyacrylic because it's much thinner and I think it'll just be a little bit easier to work with on this, but both dry clear and both will work just fine. You'll need some small cups. Now these came from Dollar General. You want them to kind of be at least the size of the opening of your glass bowls. My larger bowl was a little bit too big, so I'm going to sit that in a styrofoam bowl. I'm using an old medicine dropper, one that you're not going to use for anything other than crafting, and we're going to place our polyacrylic inside of the bowl, twist it around, and make sure the entire inside of it gets covered with that polyacrylic. So I ended up adding like 2, I think it was 1 tablespoon full in the small one. You'll twist it around until you get all the way to the very rim of your bowl and then kind of tilt it back and forth to get the excess polyacrylic out. And then I'm just going to set it on top of that cup, set it to the side, and do the exact same thing for the large one. Once I'm finished with the large one, I can go back to the smaller one and I'm going to add some glitter. This is from Walmart and it is called Snowy Surprise. It's gorgeous. I'm going to start by adding a little at a time, shaking it around and making sure that the glitter adheres to the polyacrylic. And then if I need to add any more, I can. You'll do this until you make sure all of the glitter covers the inside of the glass bowl all the way up to the rim. I'll do the same thing for the large one, and we're going to let these set overnight. You want to let them set at least 24 hours. Once they are dry, you guys, this glitter, I don't know if you can tell on camera, but it's just absolutely gorgeous. Now we're going to take the smaller one. The bottom is now going to become the top. So we're making a snowman, and I created a decal for the snowman face, but you can use an oil-based Sharpie marker. They work great on the glass, or you can use some chalk paint to draw and paint your face out. I'm using a metallic vinyl, and I didn't have any orange, so I'm using a gold for the nose, and I created some cutout star pieces for the eyes so that you would be able to see the glitter through that. And I like that this metallic vinyl kind of shines with our glittery snowman. And you can find that metallic vinyl at Walmart. So don't forget that the bottom is now the top when you place the face on there. And I want you guys to see, it's just so pretty how you can see that glitter through the eyes and how the metallic shines. I love, love, love how this one's turning out. The larger one, we are going to keep the top, and the bottom. So if you embellish that, you want to keep that in mind. I'm using that same black metallic vinyl and my Cricut. And if you don't have a Cricut and you're using some paint, those round sponge brush applicators from Dollar Tree make the perfect circles with paint. For the snowman's hat, I'm going to use a Dollar Tree hat ornament, and I've already removed the hanger. I love buffalo check, so I'm going to use this one, but you could use whatever color you like. I'm going to hot glue mine on there, but if you're going to store it in a warm place in the off season, you definitely want to put like some E6000 or super glue on there. Then we're going to take some of those string lights. We're going to put half of those lights in the bottom bowl, and then we'll pull our battery pack around towards the back and kind of pinch that down a little bit around the rim. Take the other half and put that in the smaller bowl. And then I'm going to use some hot glue just to hold the two together in case I ever need to change the lights out. But if you want something more permanent, again, you'll want to use like a super glue or E6000. Then to create a scarf, I'm going to use some buffalo check ribbon, and I get mine from Amazon, and I have that listed in my Amazon store below if you're interested in that. But you pick out whatever ribbon matches your hat or whatever color you like. I'm going to basically just double knot that around where the two pieces meet, but I'm not going to pull it too tight because I don't want them to come apart. And then I can trim the scarf down. This one is absolutely gorgeous. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's projects. If you have a favorite, let me know in the comment section down below. I always love to know which one is your favorite. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. Please take care, and I will see you guys next time.